What is up, everybody? Welcome to another call on Tyrone. I'm sorry, y'all. I got technical difficulties. Oh, there we go. What is going on, everybody? How you doing? How you doing? Here my guy Vlad. If you watch AFN, you know Vlad is a regular over there on Friday Night Madness. He's a guy that'll come in and talk with us. So, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great tonight. I appreciate you having me on.
Always. Got to be good to have Falcons fans on. What's going on, Atlanta Nation? How you doing tonight? Um, we're gonna get into this Pats game. Um, what are your? I guess I'll cover Dallas real quick because y'all didn't get my Dallas opinion, and if you wanted, you just get it here. We got beat. Um, it's as simple as that. You can't come up with excuses. I've been seeing people talk about they were doing all of this stuff the night before. You can't come up with excuses. Let's just be honest. We got beat. We didn't have enough talent. We just really got beat. Um, hey Miss Maggie. Like that's just it. That's just how we did it. I love this team. I'm not gonna say like I love this team. We got beat. Like you can't deny the fact that we got beat that bad. And you can't come up with excuses of oh man, it was the players' fault, or it was Arthur Smith's fault. They want to bring up the 4th and 7 play. The 4th and 7 play didn't really matter.
I
Really,
actually genuinely like that 4th and 7 play. Honestly,
I didn't like it either. I didn't like it either. But my thing was
yeah.
the momentum was we got beat 43. He got beat by 40 points. Like I mean, that play really gonna change momentum? It might have. It might have kept it. We would have had 6 points, but we don't know if we go back and kick that field goal. We could all go thinking what would have happened, but we really don't know. So
Well,
I
it's,
mean, that
it's the
was
whole thing.
you good.
What's the whole thing? You let's just say they get that touchdown, right? What is it then at that point? 10-43. Like that wasn't the sole reason we lost that game. Like we
Yeah.
collapsed on like multiple levels. Whether that be the coaching was off, the players just kind of like even at the end of that half, that first half, you kind of seen them kind of just shut down like mentally. They just kind of gave up, and it's one of them things where you really want to see your coaching kind of like revitalize their players at that point, and they just didn't seem to do that. They just all kind of, I don't even know. It was definitely one of the worst performances, if not the worst performances of the season.
There's two games that I didn't really like this year. The first game, of course, the Eagles game was garbage. In this game, but the thing about that Eagles game was that was our first game. This game looked like our first game again, really and truly. And I don't know what happened. I mean, we lost Jalen Hawkins, so that hurt a lot. And you could tell because you're looking at the defensive secondary and just like, man, what are we doing? Like, what is the secondary doing? And
Yeah.
you needed Hawkins. Avery Williams is not that guy. I mean, not yet. He's not good. He's not a slot corner just yet. That's why you need Isaiah Oliver back. Sad we lost him. Would have been a different defense with having Isaiah Oliver, having to bring in, and then you can bring in those young guys. And that's why I like Lee Smith's. Lee Smith did an interview with Scott Blair, and he said himself. He said if his whole job right now, if he's while he's here, is to help us these young guys and to teach them how to be professionals. And I think that's really everybody's job for these young guys. It's like teach them how to be good. Like teach them not how to get into trouble, not how to do the things that you're just like, man, I don't really want to be. I don't want to be associated with these guys. Like,
Hmm.
and that's the thing now is like, okay, yeah, we're cool. We've won as many games we did last year, and which is needed. Like this is an improvement of a year. As much as people are like, oh well, we're 4-5. At this time last year, we were what were we 3 or 2 games won at this time last year. So I mean, this is an improvement, and we still have more. We got more games
uh,
this year
I
to
try to
win.
forget last year.
Yeah, man, that was the struggle bus of a year.
Yeah, you ain't lying. That struggle bus broke down a couple of times.
Oh man, people want to, and then that's another thing about when we got rid of Raheem, and I think that's really what made people mad is because everybody's like, oh well, we turned it around when Raheem became the coach. We really didn't. These guys won his first game. We won, and I think we won 2 games under Raheem. I think
Something I think it was 2 games.
Yeah, 2 or 3 games we won, and everybody's like, well, we should have kept him as the coach. He wasn't. And thing about it is, Mr. Blank, what is his name? It's Rich McKay. Those guys know what they want. Those are your 2 guys you're going to have to talk to. And we fired Dimitrov. So you couldn't be like, well, Dimitrov has to like the guy too. No, Dimitrov was gone. So when we fired all of those guys,
I got a personal thing with like Dimitrov. I thought he was the bigger issue, even over Quinn. Honestly,
I think he was. You know what's funny? Dimitrov should have got fired. And I think what saved him was Keanu Neal's rookie year. All of those years, like that rookie year Keanu Neal had and Deion Jones, that drive saved his career because he should have got fired when we fired Mike Smith and brought in Dan Quinn. He should have got fired with Mike Smith. You should have done a whole front office sweep, but that was when the time where we had the stadium being built. And Rich McKay wasn't really around, and that's what people understand. Rich McKay has a lot of football decisions that he does, and y'all don't understand. I had a guy tell me he's a Tampa Bay fan. He said, "Man, I love Rich McKay," and I was like, "Why?" He said, "Bro, you see what he did to Tampa when we won the Super Bowl?" He was like, "I keep him in Atlanta for years," and I was like, the fan base is just what makes us. The fan base in itself makes us look dumb a lot because I don't think they really know football.
I don't really have a problem with McKay, like at all, honestly. Like I said, it was always Dimitrov because it always seemed like he was going to draft his guys, not the coach's guys, is kind of the feeling I always got from Dimitrov. It didn't matter like who it was in here that was head coaching, and he was going to get his guys, and he didn't really care, who the head coach was. And that's not how this game works. It's like you got to get your head coaches their guys, otherwise, what are they supposed to do?
Yeah, and I think that was people's mad. That was what people made people mad about him. It's like he wanted his guys. Like, I'm gonna get my guys. What's going on, Noah? How you doing? How you been, Noah? Yeah, like he was gonna get his guys. And mind you, look, I want you guys since when year did he get here? 2012, 2011, 2012. Go through all of his drafts. Just go through all of them. And just look at the names of the people that he drafted. I just want y'all to go through the names and look at who he drafted and see how many of them are still in the league right now.
Hardly any of them.
How many of them still play for the Falcons anyway? That's another thing.
Yeah, like Hangman's out of the league, I think. Prince Shimbo's gone. Who else is some higher draft picks? Landon Collins is out of it. Who else?
So many.
Many.
I think I did it one night. I think it was like close to like 20 or 30 guys that aren't even in the league anymore, and it's just like, bro, you only had 7 draft picks. How do you have that many people not in the league? So
that's one of the things, though. Like, one of the main things that we're in the situation we're in right now. Like, not only would he miss on like certain like players, like he had like entire drafts where it's like you may be lucky to get one guy out of that draft. You know what I mean? And that's a death sentence for a franchise. Like, you can't just miss on an entire draft. You at least got to get 1 or 2 guys.
At least 1 or 2. And that's the worst part about it. Like, you didn't get at least 1 or 2 some years. Let's think about, like, you go to, what year was that? What Tech McKinley year? 2017.
Yeah.
Who out of the 2017 draft right now is still playing for the Falcons? I don't even remember half that class. That's the crazy part. And that's one of the most recent classes. And I'm just like, was Dietrichson not in that class too? Yeah. It's like,
yeah, that was it really. And he's gone now too. So
like, 2017, and look at who was before, who we took, and look at TJ Watt, and just think about like, yeah. I don't know who. that's
Oh,
why, and I want to. This touches on Richie Grant.
you just like punch me in the throat over the internet saying that name.
Yeah, man, that's just when you look at that, we really took tack over, over
Not
TJ
only did
Watt.
we
It's just
take
like
Tack, we traded up for him.
poor tack. Yeah, yeah, that's another thing. You would think, okay, you should get TJ Watt. I mean, he's a Watt brother. Like, I don't understand. Like, the name alone could have got him drafted. But my thing was, he was super talented. Like, he was one of the best. He was the best, one of the best DNs in the draft. And
You
you're
know
just like, ah,
what buried him? What buried him is that 4.840 because Damcom is all about fast and physical, and
fast and physical, man. Fast and physical.
and that's the thing about it. It's like you don't got to be you don't got to be super quick to play D end. You just got to be just quick enough. You know what I mean? Because you're only having to go like 10, 15 yards at absolute most. Like you ain't got to run 40 yards down the line. You know what I mean? Or down the
think the funny thing for me is I played O-line, right? So everybody knows I'm a bigger guy. So I played O-line. Most tackles ain't running a 4.8. Most tackles are running a 5.2, 5.3. So he's still faster than most tackles.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's more about technique than anything as a D end or like a defensive lineman. Like that's the thing about like Grady, Grady Jarrett, for example. He's a great example of that. Like he didn't do too well like in the combine, all things considered. And I mean, the dude's dominant. It just doesn't make
that's
sense.
That's the crazy part about it. He's dominant. Like
yeah.
And so like as we talked about Richie Grant. I had a lot of people. I had somebody come at me for we weren't playing Richie Grant earlier in the season, and while we still took his Azari and all of that stuff. And I'm just like, well, looking at our team, we have faith, and it's not. And everybody's just like, man, why would y'all feel that way about why wouldn't we take Aziz? I said my thing is we came in this year. We had Dante sitting there. We had who else is our other DN? We got Ogundeji, who is really coming into his own, which is a beautiful thing to watch, man. If you were a FILA fan, y'all know I love Ogundeji. If you watch AFN, K Styles and Mike love Ogundeji because that boy is a dog of his. He's in a different breed. I mean, his stat wise, and I was telling people this early in the year. I was like, bro. If you look at these guys we drafted, even TQ, even Saquon, even TQ, he's turning into his own type of like they're all turning into their own thing, and so that's the only thing. That's the worst, and then you can't say. And Richie's gonna get better, and that's why DP came out and said himself, I have to realize these guys have to learn my scheme. Like you got to think DP's has been coaching since the 60s, almost I think the 60s, 70s. So he's had like him and Belichick have been coaching around the same, like they started around the same time. So those two guys themselves have been, like coaching forever. So that's the thing about it. It's like these guys got learned.
The thing about Dean Pease, the reason I was actually more excited about getting Dean Pease than even Smith, because to be in this league as long as they have Belichick and Dean Pease, that means you have to adapt. And if you're not willing to adapt, this league will eat you. And the fact that they were able to hang in for, especially Dean Pease, for like 40 years means he's adapted. He's very versed in adapting, which is one of the key things, in my opinion, for a coach. Like if you're not able to adapt, especially your game plan, you won't last. Like it just won't happen. I mean, look at Derek Coder, for example, had that, air raid, style of, play. And you see where he's at. He's sitting on his couch now. He retired, but he just wasn't able to adapt, and this league ate him. That's a perfect example. Yeah. So.
Eric McDowell, I'm looking for a draft. Well, Eric, because you were in our shows, prospects will be back. Draft prospects will be back as soon as the season ends. Not as soon as the season ends. Give us a couple weeks. I'm like y'all know we try to get everything in over here. Like we're Falcons based, but y'all know we do every sport over here. So give us a couple weeks, and we'll start doing draft prospects again. And anything. So you guys, everybody that's here, draft prospects, send us names. Send me names on Twitter at my Twitter at Call on Tyrone ATL. Send me guys you want me to look at. Now, like I mean, right now, like not down when we get after the season. I need names now because college football is about to get into draft season already. So yeah, I need you guys. If you're gonna send the names, we gotta send the names.
That's another thing I'm always I always like getting into when that time of season come around is football Christmas. I love just seeing the different prospects and stuff that might fit. And I'm gonna be honest with you, like the whole like BPA approach that it seems like Arthur Smith and Terry Fonten they were taking, like I think that's gonna, especially where the team's at right now, because I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm getting to the point now where like I don't care where they draft, like what they draft in the first round or the second round or whatever, as long as they just get like the best players available. Just because this team needs talent everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah, so
literally everywhere. Yeah. I think like elimination. Like I said, this team, like Taquan. Like I said, Taquan's getting into his own. He's a healthy scratch lately because we got Rush and Pennell. That's why he's really been a healthy scratch. Because we got 2 6'6", 300-pounders, which there's a guy in Athens that's just like that. That I think needs to come to Atlanta because I'm a little bit biased, but I think he fits perfectly. But there's a 6'6", 300-pound guy in Athens that needs to be in Atlanta. But TQ himself, and that's why I told people, and everybody that's watching these rookies, I really want you to go back and watch our old stuff. Like, go back and watch when we drafted these guys and watch these shows because we brought guys on from their colleges that watched them. So go back and watch that stuff because I promise you're going to get the information that you really want on these guys. But like I said, TQ's a little light. I think he just hit 300. He wasn't 300 when we drafted him. So, he's gonna get to that size. He's still got to get him some weight. He's a really fast D tackle. He would have been Dan Quinn would have drafted Taquan Graham. I'm gonna be honest. He would because he's a fast and physical guy. Like he was but he's smaller. And that's the same thing with Kaminsky. I think and y'all know everybody's gonna call me crazy. I think Kaminsky's gonna get cut. By the end of this year, he's gonna get cut because he's been a healthy scratch literally all year. I don't think I've seen Kaminsky touch the field.
Well, Kaminsky's a perfect example of what we were talking about a minute ago. Like he crushed it at his combine, his pro day as far as his measurables go, but it just I don't know. It kind of screams to me like his technique isn't there, and it just goes to show that you can be because everybody's fast, everybody's physical in the NFL. Like the deciding factor is your technique on point. And if your technique's not on point, everything else just kind of just goes by the wayside. And that's kind of how I feel about him. Is like if his technique just doesn't seem to be there. At least from the outside looking in, because even when the snaps he was playing, it just seemed like it just seemed sloppy to me. And I just don't get how you could be a lineman and be on the same team with Grady and just not absorb everything, literally everything he has to teach you. So it might be an effort thing too with him. He just doesn't want it bad enough. And that's another thing. Like you gotta want it. You gotta want to be here in the NFL. And if you don't, you will not be here.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, so we look at. I'll say this. Draft. Y'all know. Just to get back to that era of Dan Quinn, the draft start. I'm gonna use their slogan. The draft starts in Mobile. February 5th, the draft starts, and people don't believe that, but that's basically the combine. That's the on-field combine. That's when you see these guys play. So that's why you need to watch the game. Yeah, that's when it matters. That's when it matters. I don't care about the combine. I don't think people understand. Combine stats do not matter. They really don't. I know people get so engrossed in those numbers. Like, oh, he ran a 4.240. Look at John Ross. I want people to look at John Ross.
Yeah,
John Ross is literally the fastest 40 time. Where's John Ross right now?
I'm convinced that's a huge part of why Richie Grant was great in college, but like that solidified him was when he went to Mobile and actually was on field. You know what I mean? Like,
Ogundeji, another one.
yeah, yeah,
He was at Notre Dame. He was great, but he got to
yeah.
Mobile and he shows out. Mobile, you have to, and it's funny because people are thinking like it's so long, like the whole week is so long. You have to watch all of those weeks. You have to watch every day because you get to see different stuff every day. It's a great coverage. NFL Network gives you great coverage of it.
Oh, I watch it every year.
Yeah, every year they give you great coverage. Let me see. We want film because cut these contribution for $1 a month for hundreds of games. Yeah. See, the thing about what you know what's crazy about college, they don't give you all really, they haven't gave you all 22 for NFL anyway. But the college all 22 is like limited. Like you're not gonna get that out anywhere. The DQ era players slowly getting released. Yeah, I knew that. We knew that was gonna happen as soon as they got in here. They cut. I mean, they were going crazy.
I mean, Neil's grabbing onto like anything he can, like any position he can get onto, because like you see him playing linebacker now.
Yeah, he's just grabbing onto what he can grab onto. Like,
yeah, and I can't blame him.
Was gonna make him a linebacker. Dan Quinn was gonna make him a linebacker. That was the last thing he was gonna do on earth. That was his whole plan of having Keanu and bringing him to Dallas. It's like, man, you know what? He'll play linebacker because he can't play safety anymore. He's gotten too slow. Those injuries really killed Keanu. Because he was such a good player, and it just the knee blew out twice, and it was just like, man, you just hated to see it for him, but it was just like when you get to that point.
That when he got that Achilles and the ACL tear and all that, it was, you felt bad for him because he just came back from one, he was looking to go back in there and prove it, and it was just like, damn, really. I felt bad for that.
Yeah. And that's like the thing is, we didn't really draft to replace him till later on. Like late years down the line when we went and got Jalen last year. That was the first time we really went to replace Keanu. When there were multiple safeties, and it's so funny when you go look back and look at the talent we missed. Not even just TJ Watt. Like, we've missed so much more talent. Like, let's think about, like, we went and drafted 2 players. We went and drafted Lindstrom and we drafted McGarry. We literally went up, and we could have got a different type of player in that situation. We went and got 2 of them. Now, it's looking better. Like, those guys are developing, but there's other talent we could have used it on. And I remember, Julio's on IR, and I said, we sold at the right time. And then there's people like, well, we should have gotten rid of him during the Super Bowl. And I'm just like, bro, he was still healthy. He still wasn't at the point where he was getting hurt. We got rid of him right there, like right when we knew his body was going to be. And that's why I will applaud last year's all around. We just haven't seen Frank Darby. Frank Darby's about the only player in that draft class we haven't seen somebody do something spectacular. And I think his time is going to come. Like, I mean, we've seen Ogundeji block a kick. We've seen Avery actually, have good punt returns. We've seen Richie have good coverage. We've seen all of these guys. TQ's had great, he's had some good game. Like, I mean, what we have to do this game, I guess I'll get into the game at this point. What we have to do this game is just control the line of scrimmage. Like, Mac Jones is not going to be able to, he's not mobile. Y'all know Mac Jones is not mobile. If you can keep Mac Jones in his pocket and really give him some pressure up the middle, that's what frees up Dante Fowler. On a note of that, that's what frees up Dante Fowler. Is just like you got to have pressure up the middle to give your DN some space, and that's what I think.
Well, that's one of the things about this game. I think one of the key players to this game is going to be Anthony Rush, because like can he really eat up those double teams and give Grady those single coverages, so he could get home to Mac a lot easier? Can he free up Dante for those one-on-ones? That's why I'm like, if I had, in a perfect world, if I had my choice, like that's what I would want, is like a dominant nose tackle, like like you were saying a minute ago, the kid from Georgia come in. Just because, like I said, that just it unlocks basically this defense, if you ask me. Just because, like I said, teams know Grady is gonna eat. They just got to limited it. But if you can get Anthony and Rush to eat those double teams and free Grady up and free Dante up, like this game is going to be a whole lot more obtainable.
Yeah, you give Grady. And think about it. If you give Grady one-on-ones, like We watched Grady get a 1-on-1 in New York and literally kill that man in the backfield.
Yo,
Like,
he ate him. Like that
yeah,
was so
like, and
funny.
that's the thing about it. You can't, and he did the same thing in Dallas. He's done it. He does the same thing over and over again. That's why people double team him. It's the same thing with Aaron Donald, and that's why people understand Aaron Donald and Grady Jarrett. If Grady Jarrett had another dominant, he'd be in the same conversation with Aaron
Yo,
Donald.
if he had Jordan
Really,
Davis
truly.
on if he had Jordan Davis right now on the team with
Oh
him,
man, it and the
yo,
thing about it is you can't, and that's why I like Rush, because Rush is huge. I think people don't understand Pernell and Rush are 6'6",
mhm.
300-pound guys. Those are the same guys as like Jordan Davis. They're just older. And Rush is the youngest one. Yeah, Rush is
Mhm.
24, I think. So JD will come in at a younger age, but I want to keep Rush. I think next year I want to keep Rush because I think he's shown you enough. He's
I
gonna take a cheap deal, but that's the only thing with money next year is just like so
I
this year.
honestly,
We go ahead.
I was gonna say honestly, I think if you're able to, you definitely want to keep him, even if you draft somebody like Jordan Davis, just because you always need those. You always need those big, big guys, especially in this 3-4 alignment. Especially, even like you could even pull out a package where you would line up Jordan Davis, Anthony Rush, and Grady out there like in a goal line situation. It's like a bear front to like shut down like a run or something. So like now having big dudes on your line is like really never a bad thing as long as their like technique is at least half decent.
Yeah. If you're on the Facebook, I think Ron's on the Facebook. Ron, if come to the YouTube because I can't see your. I don't know why I can't see your comments. But I need to see more of Grant, Hawkins, and Walker. Let's say this. Those three guys are our future. Let's be honest. And then you add Grant, Hawkins, Walker, and then you add AJ. That's our four. That's really gonna be our four. Um, and really adding IO. I think adding IO back next year. That's really gonna be the four. I love Grant. I mean, what we're doing now and what DBs is doing now with these guys is literally just weaning them in. It's more of a let me put the pacifier in your mouth and I'm gonna let suck on it for a little bit, then I'm gonna take you off of it. Then when you start crying a little bit or I see you messing up, I'll put it back in your mouth. And, it's like you're trying to get them off of it. You're trying to be like, don't be so reliant on these other guys because you can't. It's gonna be some plays. You're not gonna be relying on AJ to lock down everybody on the field.
Like I was
So
saying, like I said before, I 100% agree with you. Like they're definitely going to be one of the backbones to this defense. I especially like Malik Walker of all of them. If I had to actually pick one out of them, like it's my personal favorite because I literally could see him like I was saying over on Mad Mike's channel, uh, playing that kind of like a poor man's like Dante Hightower type of role, like where he's like inside and then outside like on third downs and rush because he's got that capability. Not saying he's going to be that at that level. I'm just saying he could give you something like that.
Some people see it as a inside type of thing, but I don't think it is. I really don't think this is an inside. I don't think he's an inside linebacker. I really don't. I think let me see what you said. Actually, Hawkins has seen more playing time at the start. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These guys, that's what I said. He's winning them. It's like I said, he's winning them off of, he wants those guys to start. Deron Harmon and Eric Harris definitely want those guys to start because they know their roles. Like they know their role of I'm the veteran. I'm gonna come in. I'm gonna do what I have to do, and I'm gonna leave. This is their 1 year. They're gonna show up for what time they do have, but they know they're not the long term into being the guys for this team. They know that. They know there's younger guys on this team, and that's the Ron Harmon did I think he did it with Torrey or one. I think Torrey or Scott, but they did it. He did an interview and said, my job here is just to help, and it's just to help get these guys ready. And it's the same thing with Dean Pease is doing. Let Dean Pease get this defense back to what he really wants it to be. And I think when we lost IO, that hurt him a lot. That hurt the scheme a lot because IO was going to be that guy. IO was going to be that guy this year, really and truly. And I think that really hurt a lot. That hurt a lot for him because that was going to be he was going to be his blitzing corner. He was going to be the guy. And Look, the play he does, he said he was his blitzing corner. Play he gets hurt is him on a blitz. So that stuff, that scheme stuff, it's gonna work together. Everybody just has to just wait. This is a calm down thing.
As
But
much as the coaching staff wanted to sit there and say this is like a win now season, like I never like if anybody that was remotely familiar with football in this team would know that was just coach. Like, it was like franchise speak. Like this is the rebuild. Like, yeah, we got one or two pieces that are good, but yeah, it's going to take a minute for this team to really establish itself into like the identity it's really wanting to be. Like, I wouldn't even like, it's not going to be next year, and it may not even be the year after, because like I was going back to the Dimitrov. Like, Dimitrov left us in like just a horrible like hole, and it was mainly just try to save his job, and it's gonna take a while to dig us out of that. So just I tell fans that say that, or why aren't they winning? It's like you got to be patient with this stuff, because championships don't just come overnight.
yeah, we'll see steadily increase. I'll put it like that.
Oh yeah,
If we don't make the playoffs this year, by next year we'll be playoff contention, I think, and then you're not championship contention with this roster until you get really the guys you want. That O line though, and y'all were talking all that crap about Jalen Mayfield. Jalen Mayfield's garbage. Jalen Mayfield needs to get out of here. I told y'all, and like I said, go back and watch our videos. When we talked about Jalen Mayfield, we told y'all the guy that came, the missing guy that came from, I said it's gonna take some time. And you don't start your career off as a left guard having to guard Fletcher Cox in the Amazon suit. You like let's think about it. And then Hargraves. So you go in 3 weeks with deep like Pro Bowl D linemen. That's the worst part about it.
The initial reaction I had on that game, I'm not even gonna lie, I was like, what are they doing at left guard? But when I like calmed down and like really thought about it, and I'm like, okay, it's Fletcher Cox. Like, of course he took his lunch money. It's Fletcher Cox, but then even when you go back and you look, like you did even see like glimpses of like he's catching on to this system. Even in that first game, like it may have been very far few between, but there was like glints every now and then. So I was, once I calmed down and thought about it, like I was like, okay, I'll take a step back, and sure enough, like he's improved drastically, and I'm really happy. I'm just happy to see that we actually have a talent evaluator that can pick up these trench guys that in the third and fourth rounds, these mid-tier rounds, that are contributing. Because that was a new feeling. Like, I'm used to, if we're getting a trench guy, he better be in the first round. And like, that's about all you really hope for, is anybody really working out. That's kind of why I believe that, Dimitrov and Quinn, they took, like you said earlier, McGarry, Lindstrom, heck, even Jake Matthews, before Quinn was even here, because I think that was one of his weaknesses, and that gets back to one of the obvious things with like T.J. Watt, for example. Like, that's like Thomas Dimitrov was horrible at evaluating linemen, and that was just a prime example of the whole Watt thing. Like, anybody that was half decent or half decent what they were even talking about with football would know to take Watt, but if for some reason it just went over his head. And I'm just happy to see we actually finally have a coaching staff, finally have a front office that can recognize talent in these mid to late rounds as far as linemen go. That's a new feeling, and I love it.
Yeah. And getting them late. Like,
yeah.
Best player available. This is funny because everybody's like, oh man, we went and got Mayfield, and then we went and got Dahlman. Those were wasted. Why we get 2 old linemen?
It's never
what I
wasted.
don't understand is Dahlman can literally learn the scheme and take Hennessy's spot. The thing about Dahlman is that he's really light. That's Dahlman's worst. That's his worst attribute right now.
He was like 290.
He's like 290. Like, him and Hennessy are both really small. I mean, centers are small, but he's really light in the butt. Like, you can tell when he got in the game. Man, I don't know if you remember he got in the game and Fletcher Cox like threw him. Like, yeah, like, so he's very light. That's the thing about Mayfield, is that Mayfield's like 330. Like, Mayfield came in being big. Like, and so the thing with Dahlman is that he's meant to play center. Like he can play guard, but he's meant to play center. Um, and I think when we lost Josh Andrews, that threw a curveball, and he's been on the IR. He came back, and then he got him back, and then he got right back on the COVID list. So like I mean, or like the injury reserve, he went right back
Yeah,
to the injury reserve list. I was just like, bro, what is your problem? like you really got hurt again. Like so, I think that's the worst part. With this O line, I think getting to this O line, we have a chance. Like I mean, this if they jail enough, only person I think that's the key factor is that getting into Jake Matthews. It's like he's gonna get closer towards the end of his career, and we got a lot of young linemen up to Jake Matthews because Hennessy's only in his third year. I mean, you built this team right. You're gonna get a left tackle in these next couple of drafts. Is gonna take his spot. I think this is Jake's 10th and 11th year or
he was
something like
drafted in
that.
2015.
Okay, so yeah, he's this is 6, 7. So I can't get off the top of my head,
That'd
but
be a sixth season.
6, yeah. So you're gonna think he's still younger. I mean, he's still he's older in age. So he's young. Football years he's young. 6 years isn't that long in NFL, but old like years he's getting older. So I think for him, he has such a great career though. Like I mean, he's been
That's
the most steady person we've had, really and truly.
that's that's one thing about me though. Like I'm never ever going to be upset with the coaching staff that wants to take a lineman high in the draft. Like I don't care if you got 5 Pro Bowlers on your offensive line, like and they take another lineman in the first. Like I'll never be upset about that because here's the thing: with the salary cap, you're not going to be able to sign those 5 Pro Bowlers, so you're going to have to let at least one of them walk. So you're going to need somebody to slot in. So like I said, that's something that I'm never going to be upset about. So even like when we took McGarry and took Lindstrom, I was all for it just because, like I said, I'm never going to be against that. The only question I had was not the fact we took linemen, the fact of who drafted those linemen. Because like I said a minute ago, Dimitrov, just seemed like if it was outside the first round, he just didn't seem to hit on linemen at all. And those are, first rounds are supposed to be kind of just layups. So
Yeah, those are the guys that are supposed to come in and automatically be your guys.
exactly.
And McGarry hurt with his heart problems, like that whole heart thing for him. And that's the thing about Dimitrov. I'm sorry to I know keep going back to some of y'all in the comments, but the thing is he just left us in such a mess. It's like everybody he drafted keeps getting hurt. Like look at Sanat. Deidre Sanat has been nothing but an injury bug.
Deidre Sanat was like the biggest mystery of this entire team. Like I never understood like what was going on with him, and I don't think we ever will know exactly what happened with him.
Either I don't think we'll ever know really what was his problem. Yeah, Matt Gano. I mean, this is too Marky. I want to get to this comment because this is really the comment I want to get into because me and Mike and we've all talked about this. The wide receivers need to step up in this upcoming game for the Falcons because they couldn't find a way to get open at all against Dallas last week. So my thing is, Dan Quinn has been the coach in Atlanta for 5 years. Some of these players have been. Russell Gage himself has been here. You know Dan Quinn. Now the talent, talent wise, he has more. This is the thing, y'all don't understand. Dan Quinn really has a talent. Like he has a talented secondary. Dallas drafts really well. One thing about them, they really do draft well. He has a he came in with a almost baby Legion of Boom. They said they don't hit as hard. He came in with a good coverage, and he went and got Micah Parsons, and he just added on to like an Infinity Gauntlet when he got Micah Parsons. So he came in like he left us in a mess, but he went into a better situation. And I think that's why Dallas took him because he has talent down there. If I'm a coach, I'm just like, man, he does great with talent as a coach. Why wouldn't I bring him here?
Well, that's what I was saying about Dimitrov. He pretty much hamstrung Quinn when because he just wasn't getting him the guys he needed, and it just seemed like it was never going to work out. So I think honestly, if Quinn had Terry Fontenot, he would still be the head coach here. If I'm going to be honest with you, I believe that just because like it's obvious because like his scheme still works. I mean, Dallas is not as good as Dallas is, without the proper system, and it shows that his system is still relevant in this league as long as he has the personnel to execute it. And not having personnel to execute your system, you can really use that as you could use that against Bill Belichick. If he just had like the most trash players in like football history, doesn't matter how good he is as a coach or how good his system is, it just isn't going to work. And I just feel like that was the biggest Achilles heel about Quinn here was Dimitrov. But as far as the receivers go, I was really wanting the Falcons. Like you were talking about Micah Parsons. Like yeah, I was wanting them to take Pitts, but if they were to trade back, that's actually who I wanted was Micah Parsons. I never really was on any other bandwagon. I felt they were the two best players in the draft, in my opinion. They were just nuts when I was watching the film.
Yeah, I think Micah Parsons was everybody's pick if we went back.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that was just the guy you go with. And so talking about wide receivers, everybody wants to be like, well, y'all had Jamar Chase in your grab. We weren't taking Jamar Chase. Why do you think we took Kyle Pitts in general? Like, I think everybody knows we knew Julio was going, and Matt needs a big target. And another thing with Darby, that's why I say with Darby is a big guy. I just want to see Darby get in the game. I think he's just not ready yet. I think that's the thing with him. And then he plays punt team, and I think he plays coverage team. He plays a lot of positions on his team, and I think that's because he just wants to work. But I think this team is just like it's just man. The receiving core is not talented. I hate to say that like that, but they're not as talented as you would think we were. Like when we came in this season, we were like, oh, we got the guys last year was like they got this. They don't fit this system.
No.
That's the thing with these guys. When you have guys like AJ Brown, and mind you, Tajay Sharp in Tennessee was a different guy because he knows the system. These are bigger body, big guys. Like these are like basically tight ends and wide receiver. AJ Brown is ginormous. He's just really fast.
Yeah,
So
Arthur Smith loves those big body possession receivers. Yeah. Like, and these guys we have currently aren't that. Like honestly, like I said, I've gotten a lot of flack for it, but like if somebody offered me a second for Ridley, like I'm not even considering all the mental things he's going through. That's a travesty. He's having to deal with that. But I'm talking about from just a pure system standpoint. Like I'm trading him. I'm getting that second pick because he just doesn't fit this system.
You give us an extra second, which gives us 3 second-round picks next year. If you think about it, you can go in that with a good amount of. You can get 3 first-round talents basically in the second round.
Yep.
So you can throw us if somebody and I don't, you can get a lot of. I don't care nothing but like the mental health stuff. That's him. Like I'm not like I don't care about it, but that's him. That's if I'm talking about the football aspect of it. If you throw me a second and a third and be like, we want Ridley. I'll take a second and a third because you're going to get talent. And it's not like we're trying to kick him out of Atlanta. That's not the case. It's just we need guys that fit our system.
I would rather see Ridley go to a team that's going to utilize his talents to the maximum and give him the best chance at a Super Bowl than stay on a team that he doesn't fit the system and just waste his career. Like when I think of a receiver having his career wasted, I immediately go to Megatron. Like Detroit knew they were wasting his career, they didn't care, and he ended up retiring because of that. Like I don't want that for Ridley at all.
I mean, y'all, I don't know if you remember the story about Gronk when Gronk was about to get traded to Detroit and he just retired off rip. He just, I'm good. I'll retire. Yeah. Like I mean, that's simply the best way to put it. Like, I'd rather see guys use their talent than rather than just sitting on the bench doing nothing. That's just as simple as that. I mean, it's hard to say it like that, but the thing with Ridley is that he would fit. I mean, he'd fit perfect in LA. I mean, not LA, but
Yeah,
the Raiders.
yeah,
Even in
like,
LA too, he would fit perfect there too. Like, I mean, there's a lot of teams that he would fit in, and he would actually, give them what they need. I think Atlanta's going to be the big receiver thing. I think when you bring in Pitts like that and you use Pitts as a receiver, which we've been doing all years, basically putting him out at the wideout and using him as a receiver and stuff like that, that's going to be the team. That's the team at this point, and it's not a
I
bad thing.
I genuinely
Um,
I think Ridley would have been a better
but
fit
that's
than
just how it is.
I think Ridley would have been a better fit.
Really might be going at. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just gonna say I think Ridley would have been a better fit than even Odell in LA. Honestly, like him and Stafford would have been nasty. That's just me personally, though. Did we lose you? Yeah, I mean, like like really could fit either with the Browns or the Chiefs. Yeah, like I think Mayfield, Mayfield and
Yeah,
Mahomes
I
would
think
be a great.
so too. I, I think so too. Um, yeah, I think I'm lagging again. But yeah, I think that's another thing. For us. Am I lagging? Let me see.
Looks like you're coming in now. I'm not sure
You
if
might have.
that's. But yeah, getting back to the previous comment, I seen it pop up a minute ago about the cap. I mean, like Dimitrov left us in a pretty dire situation as far as cap space goes. It's going to take a few seasons. Probably it might even.
Yeah. I think that's the thing about this team is like the thing with Ridley is that he has a lot of talent. I think you just want to see his talent be used. I think
Yeah, exactly.
that's my only thing really. I don't want to see him sitting around not getting his talent used.
I never want to see a player just sitting around not being utilized to his fullest potential. Like that's selfish on the owners. That's selfish on the coaches, on the GM. Like,
If we
but so yeah, like if
use his talent, I won't be mad.
I think we might have lost him, y'all. But yeah, like I mean, as long as Ridley, is being utilized, like even if Arthur Smith somehow like schemed him to the point where he was able to, you know, use his potential, because when we see what Ridley can do in a system that favors him, like he's a dominant number two. Kind of jury's still out on him being a number one, but he can be he's an extremely good number two. How much of that was on Julio, because he was Julio, is still out also, but he's still an amazing player. And like I said, I never want to see a player just be underutilized in a system that just doesn't use him properly. But yeah, that's another thing too, and that's another thing too. Like Dimitrov was like handing out contracts left and right, and he really was handing out money to players in the moment were good, but like Deion Jones, for example, like I love Deion Jones. I don't think he was worth the money we paid him. I feel the only contracts Dimitrov gave out that were justified was the Jake Matthews one, the Matt Ryan one. He gave the Grady Jarrett one, obviously. Those pillar players, those are the ones you really want to focus on and make sure you actually give the proper compensation to. And that's another thing about, because you need to make sure your coaching staff is very sound in what they believe as far as the system goes. That way you're able to develop these later round picks that takes place of these fringe players that you would want to re-sign because you wouldn't have the ability to because of cap implications. You good?
Yeah, I'm back.
Cool.
Yeah, I told you I'm moving around. I'm sorry, but yeah, I think this. Yeah, see, that's what I was saying. This is for you. This is for you. Do you trade?
You're breaking up pretty bad.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I heard Detroit in there and then a few other words. That was about it, though.
Would you cut Dion, or not cut Dion, or trade Dion, Foyer, or you trade for?
What's the Dion contract looking like on cap implications if we just cut him?
I think he has like a great contract. So let me see. I think he has like a great contract.
I mean, obviously, if we can get some draft compensation for him, I would unload him and just keep Foyer, and then just try to look at making Malik Walker have a bigger role in the system. As far as Dion goes, though, like I said, I would just trade him if somebody gave us the cap space and just keep Aluakon. I'm not a big fan of either one of them in this system, honestly. So I think honestly, linebackers are a bigger issue or a bigger need than a lot of people want to even really think about. That's why I was kind of under the umbrella, you just get talent regardless of where it may be. You just grab it at any level, preferably on the line if possible. But if not, heck, I'd be open to even if they the kid from Notre Dame dropped, that safety from Notre Dame dropped, and we're able to snag him. I would get him just out of just pure BPA, even though we have Hawkins and all the
I mean anything. What's up, Wallace? How you doing, Wallace? How you doing? So Dion's contract. This year, the sort of potential out is 2022. That'll be 3 years. His cap is 15 million. So, I think that's the worst part. I think the worst part is happen for him. I'm really looking for that.
I'm gonna be honest with you that whatever mic you're using is it's horrible. I think it might just be lag though. I don't know. I can't really understand what's going on. We dropped him again. But no, as far as Dion goes, if somebody gave the right compensation, I'm letting them walk personally. I just don't feel like he's an actual fit for DMP's system. As far as Foyer goes, he's definitely more of a fit, but not really what he's looking for either. So I can see linebacker definitely being a selection this year coming up.
Can you hear me?
1,000% better now, dude.
I was saying his cap hit. So cap details. Cap hit this year. Central out was 2022 3 years, was 32 million. We restructured him.
Mm-hmm.
But his cap hit is 19 million.
See what I'm saying? That's elite, Luke Kuechly prime kind of money. You know what I mean?
And his dead cap is 20. So, like we talked about with Dimitrov, the only way we get much. So his base salary is $9 million. He has a signing bonus of $2 million, roster bonus of $4 million. He has a $1 million option and a $1 million structure. So that gives him $19 million. That gives him $19 million cap hit with a $20 million dead cap.
Never. I wonder if there's any kind of trade clause in his contract.
I'm looking. I don't see anything that says they get a trade clause. I would trade him. I mean, at this point, there's got to be a team that wants him.
That's going to be a tall order for some teams, most teams, honestly.
And everybody's spending so much money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, $20 million dead cap.
That's nuts. That's
ridiculous. He's $17 million this year.
Let me just add the caveat to that. Like, you know, after that $20 million dead cap, nah, we're kind of forced to keep him. Like, there's no way, unless we can like find some team to unload that contract. There is no way he's going anywhere.
So, I mean, his dead cap that next year's. I mean, after next, so 2022 will be $20 million, and 2023 $5 million dead cap. But mind you still got a $17 million cap.
Exactly. So that's what I'm. That's the situation I was talking. What we were talking about earlier with Dimitrov. Like, he's gave these contracts that, like Debo's contract, that were just horrible contracts, and it's buried this team financially, and that's the main reason why this team's depraved of all kind of talent, is because we're probably not gonna have the money to really see what Arthur Smith really wants to do with this team, probably till about the 2023, 2024 season, if I'm being honest with you. Like, it's gonna take a minute to clean this mess up.
I'm gonna look. I want to go see like the system in general, just look at our cap, right? Because I think people don't need to. We don't have any money till you, like you said, 2023.
Yeah.
And that's the worst part about. That's the worst part about what the Dimitrov did, is just like, you didn't care. Like, you were just throwing money out. Like,
he was trying to save his job, is what he was trying to do.
Yeah, like, you were just getting fan favors. Let's be honest. You were really just getting fan favors. It was like, I'll give him a contract. Give him the contract. Give him another one. And like Wallace said, you have the rest of the frustration. This fee scheme is complex, and you're not going to be able to get rid of it. Yeah, like we said, like, you're really not at this point. Like, there's no way you're getting around. I want to go to salaries by E. I'm on Spot Track. If you guys want to fact check me. So 2020. So next year we'll have 28 players signed, right? Crazy stat. This is the craziest stat. 2022 we'll have 28 players signed with $177 million cap. With 28 players signed.
Oh, it made my head hurt.
I don't even know how on God's green earth you have 28 players that equal $177 million. This is cap allocations. So that means we gotta pay guys. We cut guys, and we gotta pay those guys next year.
Are we still paying? We're paying like Trufant and stuff too, aren't we?
Trufant's ended. I think Trufant ended this year.
Oh, is it this year? I don't know.
Yeah, I want Matt's extension as fast as possible.
Yeah, like Matt's like I was telling people that want to hate on Matt, anytime I talk to people that hate on Matt, it's people normally that don't really understand football. But when I talk to people that actually write for a living or do a podcast or actually really dig deep into it, I have yet to hear anybody say a negative thing about him. I mean, he screws up here and there, but doesn't trash Ryan like your casual fan will. And that's what I tell people. I'm like, get comfortable with Ryan because he's going to be here to at least he's 40. And I'm all for it. Like, this is probably like one of his weaker games of the season, and his weak games are like an average quarterback in the league game, like a normal game. You know what I mean? Like, he's never been the issue of this team. He never has.
You know what's crazy? So I'm just going through like our numbers. So Kyle Pitts, Kyle Pitts basically, unless we sign Hayden Hurst to to lower contract, he won't have a backup. Jaden Graham is a restricted free agent, but I don't see us keeping him at all. Kyle Pitts is by 2024, he'll be making $10 million, so he's not even making big. Calvin really next year is expected to make, not expected, he is going to make $11 million if we keep him.
That was on the tag.
Yeah, that was on the tag. $11 million's on the tag. Mike Davis is $3 million next year if we keep him. And Matt Ryan is $48 million. If you don't think we're going to restructure Matt to at least go to 2025, 2026 with $48 million sitting right there, you have a rude awakening.
There's literally no way they can really fill a roster out without touching his contract. Like
Same
it's
thing with Jake. It's the same
yeah,
thing with Jake. Jake's getting $23 million next year. Who decided to just backload all our contracts?
that's the remnants of a desperate man trying to save his job. Is what that
Who
all these
just
contracts are.
backloaded all our contracts? The most dead cap. Matt Ryan has $67 million in dead cap.
Good Lord.
Jeez, man. Yeah, Grady Jarrett. Now Grady Jarrett's getting paid market value. I mean, he's getting paid elite market value. Which I said, I said we talked about this earlier, Atlanta Nation, saying, Richie didn't. That's why I said Grant. I said he's weaning those guys. That's why I said that, because Pease isn't gonna throw those guys out there to die. That's the thing about Pease. People want to hate on him about he doesn't do analytics and this and that. He treats his players with fairness. He ain't gonna throw them out there to burn.
The thing about it is like I use this for like rookie quarterbacks. When you throw like a rookie quarterback out there behind a terrible line, that rookie quarterback better have like an iron spirit, like a steel spirit, because once a player's like will to play is broken, like there's no recovering from that. And the hallmarks of a great coach like Pease is when he sees a situation where if he throws his player out there, it's going to ruin him, he just won't do it. And that's the reason why I like Pease, is because he kind of just slowly creeps these players along to really take over a more dominant role in his system, instead of just throwing them in there, baptism by fire. Because a lot of players sink when they're thrown into the water like that. They don't really, they're not really able to adapt like that. That was one of the most impressive things about Jalen Mayfield, is the fact that, he got his lunch just ate by Fletcher Cox, and he had the ability to really step up that next week and, keep at it. So that's his most impressive trait to me. And I think is one of the most vital traits to any player is, can you put that last game behind you no matter how horrible you did?
So, this is why I like Spot Right, or Spot Right, all of it. I just I like them because they're showing me dead payroll figures, right? I want to tell y'all the names on here that are getting paid. This is just from this year, right? These were Sanat, $664,000. Jacob, Tui's getting paid $424. Dorian Efforts, 294. Neasley at 261. Parker Hees, 220. Ryan Becker, 207. These are dead figures. These are dead payroll figures.
Mm-hmm.
Quadre's 198. James Vatter's 187. Ito is we're still paying Ito 155. Chris Williamson, 137. Jordan Miller, 117. Darren Bates. This list goes long. I mean, this is
Dimitrov was out here handing away retirement plans, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, this
for real.
We're still we're playing True Font this year, $5 million. James Carpenter's getting paid $2 million. Ricardo Allen's getting paid $2 million. Jamon Brown's getting paid $1 million, basically $2 million. Alan Bailey, I don't even remember who that is. 1,600. A million. Well, basically 1.6. Brandon Copeland's getting paid $1,040,000. TJ Green's getting paid $920.
The thing about all this though is this all compounds to a big issue. If you had one or two of these guys, that's fine, but having this kind of a list, this long of a list, this all adds, this all adds up to a problem.
Because TD5, because you just started a Patreon account, a car wash, and the big
stuff. For real, something.
You're gonna have to get our money. You got to get the money back.
To me.
If y'all didn't know that they have over 3 years of payoff debt, yeah, I know they do. Yeah. It's just we'll pay it off. I mean, we'll pay all this off, but it's just
it's gonna be painful until it happens.
I'm just this is crazy, man. Jake Matthews is the second highest earning player on this team. That's how we cut a lot of people. Because I used to be Julio. That's how I'm gonna tell you. Like we've cut a lot of people, and the thing, look at the. I mean, I want to go to this question. What positions does this team need to fill up? And I'm just gonna look. I'm gonna go off of just this. I'll go first real quick. Of course, I'm gonna let you go, Vlad. Running back is one of them. We need another running back. Unless you bring Corey back, you need another running back. I don't know what you're gonna make Felipe do, if you're gonna make him turn into Taysom Hill or what you're gonna do, but you probably want to, unless you're gonna keep Josh Rosen, which I agree with. I would say keep Josh Rosen and Felipe back there behind Matt. Those are the only two guys I really trust behind Matt. I know everybody thinks Josh Rosen is supposed to be washed, but that man never had a fair chance.
I really want to see him just put Felipe on the practice squad. Like I don't really care for these gadget plays they put him out there on. Like I'm not a big fan of those.
It's not really a need for it, but I can see why they're doing it. Basically, like I said, they're basically gonna Taysom Hill. They're trying to be like make him Taysom Hill, kind of sort of. But he could do it if they really know when to run it. If we have the right plan to run it, he can do it. I feel like he has he's a way better option than Taysom Hill and that gadget.
Oh yeah.
But it's just knowing when to do it. You need a running back this year to draft. I said this, and it's so many of them. Like I told y'all earlier, watch Mobile because you're gonna get to see a lot of those running backs. I would love to have James Cook and Jordan Davis in the same draft just to fill my Georgia heart up. But just to fill any need that we have. James Cook is the ultimate. He's literally a young Cordell Patterson. Y'all know his brother. Everybody knows his brother. And then, so, those are just the two things you need. And then
give me that kid from that linebacker on Georgia, too. That dude's sick.
I mean, there's so much talent coming out of Georgia this year.
You ain't lying.
I mean, so wide receiver is going to be one of them. Only wide receiver we basically have under contract till 2023 is Frank Darby.
That position in itself is going to get overhauled like hard.
Yeah, we're gonna like Gage is an unrestricted free agent in 2022. Zacchaeus is restricted. Tajay is unrestricted, and Christian Blake is restricted. We're gonna do a whole overhaul of this team. Like I'm telling y'all, really and truly.
Honestly, like I said earlier, though, like I think this team needs just talent everywhere. Like I don't care if they took a center like that kid from Iowa or whatever. Iowa.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even care if they took him. Like I just want them to pick up talent. But if all things were equal and I had to pick like what position is the most drastically needed right now, I'm 100% on board with the running back. We need edge rushers, obviously. We need. Honestly, I think it might be a hot take, but I think linebacker is actually a really, really big need because, like I said, Dion, he's more of that more that will linebacker in the system, but he's still gonna need a running mate because you're not gonna sign Dion and Aluakon both. Like you got to make your mind up of which one you want. You definitely, at some point, I'd probably say late in the draft, maybe want to pick up a corner of some kind because, you do have Oliver and you do have AJ. So you just need one more guy to go on the outside with AJ. But, yeah, that's probably my biggest ones is probably running back, edge, and probably linebacker. Honestly, I'd encompass saying not necessarily just edge, but just like defensive linemen in general, like whether it be Jordan Davis or whoever, just somebody to push that pocket, somebody to get pressure because I'm sick of turning on games and seeing the Falcons, floundering just around like some fish trying to get to the quarterback with their arms flailing around, not doing nothing. Like I want to see somebody just dominant. Like I want to see like a Julius Peppers, in Atlanta. Like I'm ready for that. You know what I mean? I'm ready for this dominant defensive lineman.
I just want to see how we do it, man. I just want to see, and that's why I really like. That's another one I want to get to. Yeah, that hurt us a lot. Yeah, that really did. Yeah, that hurt us a lot. Would this be a make or break game for Mike Davis this season? Or are you done with Mike Davis? So my thing is, we don't know what's going on with Quadre. I think that's another thing.
is that you drafted a guy that was actually really good in college, and then he gets here, and then you change coaching staffs, and he needs to learn how to run again.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to see what's going on with Quadre. But Mike Davis is, I don't know. I think a lot of the media and a lot of the people that cover put a lot of pressure on Mike Davis, put a lot on Mike Davis to be a star running back because of what happened last year. And you got to think he really only got that because McCaffrey got hurt. He got a lot more touches, and he's built to be a third down,
Yeah.
third down back he's not meant to be an every down back.
He's meant to be the third down hammer, basically.
Yeah, he's the big cannonball. You're not gonna get Michael Turner. Let's be honest. Michael Turner was just a different breed of running back, and we took a shot and we won. Let's be honest. That a lot of things that Minstrop did when you think about it, he took a couple of shots that worked, but a lot of his stuff was just like, man, you really messed up. Like, I mean, you bring in Steven Jackson, that was
The Michael Turner thing was probably one of his biggest hits, if you ask me. Because, I mean, like the Alex Mack thing, like that, I mean, anybody could have told you that. Like, Alex Mack was crazy good. It actually surprised me when the Browns didn't re-sign him. I was like, what are they doing? So, like Michael Turner was probably.
That's man, when you look at this club hit list, and you look at like we would have cut Dante Fowler, he would have been $10 million across the cap. We wouldn't have been able to sign our whole rookie class, really. Yeah, that's another thing. Well, yeah, we had Javonte Williams. Yeah, I know. That was a questionable. When you think about it, it was questionable, but Richie Grant is going to be the safety of the future. So I can see why, but Javonte was just sitting there, and I was like, we got to take him. So that's another one. I think with better talent under. Yeah, I think he knows who he wants. But no, Terry has a great staff. I will say that. I think he brought in the guys that he liked, which is a thing which I've never heard the Mintroff say he fired some guys in the front office that he didn't like. He just kept everybody around.
The thing about the feeling I got with Dimitrov, and I would watch his interviews, is he was kind of like, he seemed like that kind of person that just wanted to be like everybody's buddy in the room. Where like I watched Terry, and then he seems to have like a very focused kind of like like he knows what he wants. If you don't fit what he wants, you're out of here, basically. Where Dimitrov kind of seemed like he would try to appease everybody. Yeah. And that always drove me crazy about Dimitrov, because inevitably that's what got him fired, is the fact that he handed out these contracts, these players that really didn't deserve it, and put us in this dire strait where Terry, I don't see him doing that unless you're like a Grady Jarrett or a Jake Matthews or a Matt Ryan. Like, you ain't seeing a second contract with this team, and rightfully so, because like I was saying, a couple of weeks ago over on Mike's channel, you have to make use of these compensation picks. Like, for example, like Dion, like I would have let him walk and, got that comp pick, and it would have been a really high comp pick because he was playing out of his mind, before that first contract. Yeah. And you could have turned around and turned that into basically his replacement. If not, somebody else in that line, whether it be an edge or whatever. And that's the hallmarks of a great franchise, is someone that's a team that can really take advantage of those comp picks. Because if you're not taking advantage of those comp picks and giving out these contracts to players that just flounder, you're basically the Falcons as they are right now. Like, you're a bad team.
So we gained. Actually, that's crazy. We got 2. I forgot we already got 2 now. Because we got Matt. We got rid of Matt and Keanu. I think we got one because of Barkevius Mingo. So we got a couple of. We're gonna have at least 2 or 3. And that Mingo situation kind of sort of threw us off the edge too. That was another situation where we were like, "Oh, we're gonna have a good edge rusher," and then he just does what he does. So we just kind of sort of got hit with a lot of stuff, and then I just want to. I don't think we do either, Wallace. Yeah, you can say that, like, Carolina has a good O-line running wise. Like, they might not be the best pass block, but they're going to run block very well. So, I mean, they're going to get you the holes you want. And I think the thing is, he got used a lot in swing passes and stuff too. So that was another thing when he was in Carolina. They used him as the all around back. Which I'm surprised they really didn't sign him back. I'm really surprised they didn't because I would think they would want him back, but they didn't. But yeah, we'll go ahead. I guess we go ahead and end it. But guys, tomorrow I have rivalry week at 6. I'm doing early tomorrow because the game is tonight, so I will be on at 6. Do rivalry week. We're talking about Georgia taking Notre Dame. Go Vlad. Go ahead and give yourself a shout out.
Yeah, I'm Vlad. Vlad Tap is 490 over on Twitter. Always want to talk football. Love it. Pretty much got nothing really going on right now. Just, always up to talk football. I really appreciate you having me on. I'm always willing to come on and chop it up anytime you want me to.
Yeah, guys. Tell me how you guys like Vlad in the comments. You guys know, we gonna give our guests some. You guys give us the FILA crowd. Give us how y'all guys like them. Like I said, you guys will see me tomorrow around 6. If you're a Georgia Tech fan, come in. I want to talk about your dying thieves, the dying swarm. Y'all got hit with the exterminator this year. I don't know.
The working man came and visited him.
Yeah, working came in and just sprayed them all down. I just don't know. But I will be on here with I will actually be on with a special guest from Notre Dame. ABC reporter for Notre Dame. I will be on with him, so he will be on talking about those Notre Dame Fighting Irish. But thank you again, Vlad. Thank you guys for coming in. I'm gonna try to get back to doing Falcon stuff, y'all. I know, y'all. I know I've been missing out. I haven't been doing a lot of shows and stuff, especially calling on Tyrone. I will try. I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying to get all this stuff together. But I will be doing a lot more shows coming here soon. Hopefully have Vlad on more. Probably bring on Tommy too. Bring on a couple new guys. Let you guys, get to see see some of the guys that do stuff behind the scenes. If you guys watch Mad Mike, you should know him because he always comes on as a special guest on Friday night. Y'all, I'm always on Mad Mike's channel at this point. At this point, if I'm not on here, I'm on Mad Mike's channel. If I'm on AFN, I'm on Mad Mike. I'm on Mad Mike Sports Network. If y'all don't know that channel, please go subscribe to that channel. Basically it's gonna be an extension of FILA. So all that'll be would just be all of our content from here will be over on Mad Mike Sports, and he'll have his own little stuff too. What's going on, Antonio? How you doing? But yeah, if that's the only thing. So go over to Mad Mike Sports Network. It should be I don't know if it's the exact channel name, but go on there, subscribe. You'll get to see our stuff on there. Basically, you'll get to see a lot more of all of us on there. You get to see. Hawk stuff is starting up, y'all. I know we haven't done a lot of Hawk stuff lately. I'm slowly getting to that. You will have Gator Dude covering your Hawk stuff, though. You will have Ben come in and he's gonna do your Hawk stuff. He did your braids for you. Me and him would be doing that show together. So thank you again, Vlad. Thank you guys in the comments. Like I said, go subscribe to Mad Mike Sports Network. Subscribe to Be the Sport. Leave a like, comment if you have any questions or concerns. Talk to us. Follow me on Twitter at ATL, on Facebook at TJ Monday. And that's it. We're gonna get out of here. Peace.